Now let's take the conversation to the south of the continent, where the Southern African Development Commission, SADC, Community, I beg your pardon, has declared in its final report a month and a half after Zimbabwe's 2023 elections that it, of course, had glaring irregularities. The SADC Electoral Observation Mission to the Zimbabwe general elections maintained the position of preliminary findings, sparked an uproar from the government in Harare, which accused Zambia of harboring a regime change agenda.
The Citizens Coalition for Change, CCC, said that the report supported its demand for fresh elections because it revealed numerous glaring irregularities that occurred during the elections. Prior to the release of the final report, Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema, in his capacity as chairperson of the SADC Troika on Defense and Politics, convened a meeting in which the Zimbabwean elections were up for discussion. What was the outcome of the meeting is something to look at. And also it's important to, just explore that we had been following up with the Zimbabwe elections here, and the irregularities that it would seem that SADC has sort of pointed out are things that we have noticed from before the elections. It wasn't just on the day of elections. We always say that judging the fairness and the equity or the regularity of an election process isn't just judging what happened on the day of the elections. It's months leading up until the elections. It is one, where the voters, were they deprived of their right to vote, or were they allowed to exercise their right to register to vote? Did they see their name on the voters' roll? Can we say that the opposition was given enough opportunity to be able to campaign, to be able to advocate and canvass for votes as well?
Yeah.
And we did see that a number of the CCC members had complained over and over again about how they had been victimized, how they were not allowed to hold campaigns, and it's just I think it's a glaring or an obvious expectation. It's what will be done with the report.
Yeah,
that's the issue. If anything would really be done with the report. If we see back here in Nigeria, we bring it back to Nigeria, the European Observer Mission did give a report of their findings about Nigeria's election, and those findings were trashed.
Yeah, but not just them. Almost every person who acted as an election observer in Nigeria gave pretty much the same findings with regards to Nigeria's elections. But all those things don't matter if we're being, realistic. Those things don't matter. Those reports don't matter. It's really only just going to set, the conversation, concerning the elections. But what eventually matters is what the court says. And currently Nigeria is still going through the Supreme Court process on the election tribunal. So no matter who the election observer or observer group or observer mission is, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, eventually. Of course, the Zimbabwean election saw Emerson Mnangagwa score 52% of the votes, while Nelson Chamisa, who's the strongest contender, got a 44% of the votes. It is Mnangagwa's final term in office, and so Chamisa obviously has another opportunity to run again, in another, 4 years, I believe.
But that does not in any way negate the fact that if he had the fairer chance in these elections, he should be granted that, regardless of whether or not Chamisa, or not Emerson Mnangagwa's second term would soon be over. Because if we say that,
no, I just thought to state that.
Yeah, but because if we say that means we're then. It's similar to what Osita Okochukwu said here in Nigeria, that if we're not pleased with it.
No. That's not what I was referring to. I was only just stating the facts on the elections. These are facts. 52%, 44%. Mnangagwa has, this is the second term. Doesn't Chamisa, can run again. We must mention
those
that are just facts,
the CCC had complained about being bullied. We've taken a number of the stories here on the show, how they wouldn't allow them they won't allow them have political meetings. There was one in which they had given a notice to the police 2 weeks before, because those were some of the measures that had been put in place. They had given notice to the police 2 weeks prior to their meeting date. And on the date of the meeting, it was dispersed. I hear that a number of people were arrested. And what was the police response to that? Oh, that they said they did not approve it because when they were having their meeting, the roads were bad, and if there was an emergency services would not be able to get there. Some ridiculous reasons that were given. But what will be done about it is
it characterizes, elections on the continent. But, we'll see. I would also like to find out, a little further, the part where it says, there might be a regime change agenda by Zambia. I'm trying to figure out what exactly.
What role does Hakainde Hichilema have to play?
Mean by that, but we'll see.